if you would, sir. All right. Is everything good, Sean? All right, everybody. Well, are you good? Are we live, Sean?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to the final tribal council of the season. Tonight, you guys are going to be addressing Casey and Michael. You know the order in which you're going to go. Throughout this evening, we will also give out awards, and then we'll give out the rest after the game is or the vote is announced. Because some of them we don't want to give out too soon. It could potentially ruin a vote or anything like that. So we are going to start off this evening with their opening speeches. And Casey, since he won the last challenge, he is elected to go first. So take it away, Casey.
Okay, so give me 1 second because someone wants the link to watch this. I'm just sending it now. Sorry, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Cool. All right. Hey to the jury. This is kind of strange being here in the final two. I've never made it this far. This is my third game, so hopefully third time's the charm. So I think, something very interesting is that obviously this is a blood versus water season, and quite literally blood won out for this season, which is obviously me and Michael. Throughout this game, just like any other game, you have to work with people. And obviously I did work with Michael. Throughout the game, especially the first 2/3 of the game, Michael and I actually had very similar mindsets as to what strategies we needed to pull off about our thoughts and plans for this game. And actually, oftentimes, because of how similar Michael and I are in that regard, we think similarly, but sometimes we act differently. Michael and I didn't even need to pre-talk about things beforehand. And we just automatically said it, and we knew we were on the same page. This game, as well as every other game that I've played, I like to do two things. First, I like to try and find a close ally right in the beginning of the game who I can actually talk to, straight up about everything. Because of the prior relationships that were in this game, I actually had two of those allies. So right from the jump, it was Michael and it was also Mark. As well as my other strategy going into any of these games is to play a game of 80-20. And what I mean by that is I like to be 80% honest about pretty much everything that's going on in the game with my plans, my thoughts and everything. And the 20% we'll say is dishonest. Now, in these games, everyone has to be dishonest to some extent. I mean, it's very rare. I don't think I've actually ever seen anyone that's been 100% honest. So that 20% that's dishonest, that could be in regards to embellishing or exaggerating one of my statements. It could be the omission of the truth of whatever I'm telling someone, or it could be just straight up lying. I really try and not lie about anything in my game. But sometimes you have to tell lies. So with that 80-20 as well, I like to also try and play about 80% logical and 20% emotional. We're dealing with real people and real emotions. And there were a couple times when emotions were very high. And I definitely took that into consideration. I'm not some sort of cold, heartless person. I don't really think I did anything in this game that would be deemed that way, nor did Michael. And also, I've been trying to be very, very careful about what I say, when I say it, and the actual word choice that I use. I might go into that a little bit more later, but I have a lot of notes on my paper that I kind of want to hit. But I will say a very specific instance of me being careful about what I was saying was when Mark, Michael, and JJ wanted to know if Tawny had anything in the game. I said, no, she didn't. And this was in reference to right after Keaton had gotten out of the game. As we all know, everyone entered the duo room after one of their duo was eliminated. And this was a little bit after. And I told Mark, Michael, and JJ, no, Tawny did not have anything, which was actually true because Tawny had transferred her advantage to me. So, kind of starting off at the beginning of the game in the one world, I tried to make sure I messaged every single person in the game, and I did do that. I created some alliance chats with people that I did kind of know prior to the game, which was just Mark and Peyton. But as I very quickly started to realize that certain people did know each other and some people were very open to that information as well, I had to try and think about what my strategies were before. Um, or what they were going to be going forward. So the one world was pretty simple. There were, 3 duos on the block, and we just went with the majority. Plus, at that time, which was honestly one of the few times throughout the game that I had really consistently talked to Timmy. That whole day one, I actually talked to Timmy more than anyone else. But moving forward, Timmy and I were very much on opposite schedules. Even on a couple occasions, he'd message me, "Hey, I'm just really busy." So we got divided into tribes, and ironically, the last 2 tribes in the division, or last 2 groups in the division, were myself and Michael, and Mark and JJ. Right at the beginning of the game, we created a 4 bros chat. If I'm being completely honest, based on everything that I heard about JJ, as well as not actually knowing him myself, JJ was never really in my end game plans. But I very much liked him. In the very beginning of the game as well, some of the best chats that were just straight up a mix of personal and game actually came from that chat. And as we all do know, myself, Mark, and Michael made it to the final 3. So I'm very happy that, pretty much my original alliance, in my mind, my true alliance, did make it to the end. So we were separated into the tribes, north side, south side. Realizing the prior connections that were in the game, and plus, given that it was a one world game, I thought it was much better to focus on my tribe and creating social bonds with them. There were times where I had talked to Minor, especially one of our first calls, which was very much more personal. Just something as little as board games. Board games is what actually kind of took over the big part of that conversation. And you could just tell by talking to Minor, he's a very kind soul. He's a very nice person. So I really got along with Minor, and I very much liked that. But I think the very first call that I ever had in the game was actually with Tawny. And that call went really well. Compared to some of my other early calls, Tawny and I had talked for probably a little over an hour and a half that first time. And I really liked her. And then the same thing with Keaton, too. When I could get on a call with Keaton, because sometimes he was playing Minecraft and stuff like that with his friends. And I believe Valorant was the other game as well. We bonded as well. So I really liked my conversations with Tawny and Keaton, as well as my conversations with Mark and JJ. In the beginning, those felt the most similar to how I had calls in the previous game. As the time went on, I had some really great calls with Taisha, because obviously Keith was voted out first in our tribe. And I really liked Taisha, very game related. But I will be honest, my later calls felt very different because she was very straight up with me in our first few calls. And so I was a little weary about actually working with her, but I still worked with her nonetheless. I also really liked Kevin and Allie. They were a key part. And I'm not sure how much time I've eaten up. I guess 3 more minutes at this point. So I'm going to start going through things really quick. I tried to figure out who was the center of the group, and it definitely seemed like Tawny and Keaton were. Michael and I were very, very much in agreement with that. We worked on that, and ultimately that's what saved us. That got Kevin and Allie out. Along with the beginning of the game as well, Michael and I were in the same room talking, and there was the opening video that popped up. For some reason, I told Michael to get out of my room so I could watch this video, and Michael took his laptop into the other room, which is where I found the day one idol. And then I hid it from Michael, and Michael had no clue that I had that idol until I later, right at the end of pre-merge, revealed I had it. Throughout that, because we were unsure about our positioning in the game, I took on key parts of the challenges, whether that be the last person in telephone, the puzzle in the relay race, the drawer in Pictionary, and the clue giver and code names. And in 3 of those 4 instances, it worked out. And Keaton kept saying how much of a challenge beast I was, how good at challenges I was. So by the time that we were gearing up to go to merge, I realized that I needed to shift my game and maybe even throw 1 or 2 competitions in the beginning to get that off my back. So that weekend after Allie got out and as we were going into merge, I was filming my org Prometheus, and I was told we were originally going to have off that whole weekend. Well, as I was finishing up a call with my players, Michael came into my room and told me we were doing a challenge. And then I found out also we were doing a live night. We were doing tribal after that. So I had to kind of think at the drop of a hat. I knew Michael and I had talked with JJ and Mark. The plan was to potentially flip to the other side, have the majority there, and then pick off north side one by one by one by one. But I pretty much knew that that was not a good decision. And so I needed to figure out what was going to happen, but there was no time to do that. In that memory comp, the first one of the merge, it was a memory challenge. I'm actually pretty good at memory challenges, and I think the trivia challenge at the end of the game also just kind of solidifies that. That's the only real challenge that I ever actually threw in this game. And so with that challenge, I then did not go to tribal, and I spent some time talking to the Northside people, and I knew that I had to stick with them. And so pretty much the first half of the merge, I was on the wrong side of the votes time after time after time after time again. But I knew that it didn't matter that I was on the wrong side of the votes because there was a strategic purpose behind that. I was also a part of the Octopus chat, which was the 8 other people that were trying to go against Tawny Keaton, Timmy Miner, and Grace. And so I was in that chat, and I never once spoke in that chat purposely. And with that, though, I was relaying information to the Northside crew. I was also very selective with the information Northside had given me to give to Michael, Mark, and JJ. On occasion, I still did, but I never relayed that information to Jonathan, Shannon, or any of them. Throughout the game, I knew that I had to stick with them, even though Michael and Mark kept saying to me, when are you coming with the vote with us? You should vote with us now. You should vote with us now. And I knew that it was not right. And clearly it did work out for me. There's so much more notes that I want to say, but I unfortunately have to wrap this up. But I ultimately wanted to stick with Tawny and Miner, but I knew that Miner was, at least I thought at the time, Miner was going to be the one that was going to go further. So I was fine with potentially trying to shift certain votes throughout the merge. When I knew that they were going to just pick everyone off, I told him that they should probably go for Keaton first, and then this person and this person. And Tawny, you were actually one of the people I said at one point. But part of the game is about adaptability, flexibility, and pivoting. And then I realized that after Miner had gone, which was the first real shock to my game, that I needed to continue to work with Tawny. And I told Tawny pretty much the whole truth about the game, at least the Cliff Notes version. Tawny and I made it pretty far, and ultimately she didn't vote with them when she had the opportunity to vote me out. She also had given me her advantage. So I think that just kind of goes to my social game. And then at the end, I won 2 more immunity competitions after I had won the one where I revealed everything about my advantage in Idol, putting me at 3 competition wins. I got to ensure my place in the final 4 and final 3 and final 2, and ultimately chose Michael to take to the end. But I guess that's the shortened version as much as I can shorten it. Sorry if that was just a cluster.
Well, thank you, Casey. We much appreciate it. Michael, it's all yours.
All right, I'm going to make mine actually kind of short and sweet because Casey and I did kind of have a lot of the same game going on. So I'll kind of just run through the game and then some key differences. So, I came into this game at a disadvantage. This was only my 2nd game ever. I'm incredibly new to this community. So as far as how these games go, play, and also all the interpersonal relationships with people outside of this, I knew nothing about. But a wise man I know once said that in this game, any disadvantage can be used as an advantage and vice versa. So especially during the pre-merge, but even post-merge too, I played kind of dumb, kind of coy, kind of naive. And this was a way to kind of lessen my threat level in any way possible. And especially sitting next to my brother alone throughout this game, if it came down to voting one of us out, especially early on, it would probably be more so him than I. Now, I did come into this game with a couple pre-existing connections, besides my brother, that being Mark and Jonathan. I immediately, upon cast reveal, created a 3-person chat with both Mark and Jonathan. And then right after that, we created the 4 Bros Alliance that Casey touched on. And that is the crux to like all of our games, really. I mean, from day one, we all planned like every little step of the way, planned ahead, exchanged information about both tribes, and it was like instrumental in my game, absolutely. So then the tribes get divided. I had been talking with pretty much everyone, but a couple people I really were talking to heavily were Kevin and Allie and Keith and Taisha. So I immediately, when we got into our tribes, created the Sixers chat. Now, it obviously didn't pan out because Keith soon went home after that. But what happened before Keith got out was me and Keaton actually got on a call after that first immunity challenge that we lost. And we had a great conversation. He did let slip, though, that he was part of a big major friend group. So what I did, I went to the four bros with that, told Mark and JJ that. They helped spread that. I also told Jonathan that. And then I eventually told Sunshine and Warren that, kind of hoping that through the pre-merge, if they lost, they could get out like Seb or Grace. And then just by some miracle, Casey and I could survive too. Which, you know, the bond we made with Taisha from that Sixers chat, as well as Kevin and Allie, kind of helped secure that. You know, we ultimately went with Tawny and Keaton in the end. But yeah. Another thing too was the pre-jury or pre-merge tribe immunity challenge wins. Casey and I were very instrumental in that. We lost that very first challenge, but the next challenge with I can't remember the name, but the Pictionary. Casey was actually at work when our tribe was on call waiting for it to start. And no one was really volunteering except for Minor, but I knew Casey would absolutely kill it in that. So I made sure to tell everyone, oh, Casey already agreed to it. He'll do it. And the second Casey came home from work, I said, you're doing it. Just do it. And what did it do? It won us that and got me and Casey a step further along to make those connections and not get voted out that early. So then merge comes. Me and Casey are sitting pretty because we survived. We have the connections with both Mark and JJ. So therefore we're able to, and Taisha, we're then able to kind of by proxy work with Jonathan, work with Shannon, work with Sunshine. And yeah, sorry. So then, one sec, I lost my train of thought. Yes, so we created the octopus chat. So it was the 8 of us. And Casey was right. He wasn't able to make it into that group call. It kind of got chaotic. Casey wanted us to vote Keaton, but we actually went against that and ended up voting for Timmy instead. I was fine with that because Timmy was someone at that point in time I had less of a relationship with compared to Keaton. So I knew if something went wrong, I could probably depend a little more on Keaton to get things done. Also, too, that's where kind of me and Casey's game kind of started to diverge from each other. He was a little less active in that octopus chat. He was a way more active with the North side. In that time, I was able to bond more with Shannon, with Sunshine, with Jonathan, and even more so with the four bros. Casey missed a lot of calls in that four bros, and I think JJ and Mark can agree. I had way more of a bond with them than Casey had with them, which was, again, instrumental in getting me far along in the game. Also, too, at this point in the game, I kind of unintentionally, I will admit, surrounded myself with a couple of shields, that being Casey, that being JJ, that being Mark, and that being Taisha. And so when Shannon, Sunshine, and Jonathan wanted to make a big move, who did they target in a double blindside? Taisha and JJ. At that point in time, I kind of thought my game was a little ruined, but you know, again, every disadvantaged kind of situation, you want to try to make it into a positive. And therefore, I kind of made sure that Sunshine, Jonathan, and Shannon were kind of seen as the big targets. And then this is really where me and Casey's game kind of differed. He was still trying to play the whole double agent thing, and that might be good for his game, but it absolutely didn't affect my game at all. Because once we get to the final 8, Casey wants us to vote out Shannon, but me and Mark decide to vote out Minor instead. Then after that, we vote out Shannon. That's kind of like a group effort. And then after that, we vote out Jonathan. Again, a group effort. But then after that, Casey really wants Sunshine out. But yet again, me and Mark decide that it's better for my game and his as well to get out get out Tawny. And then once again at the 4, Casey really wanted to get Mark out, and I went against him and got out Sunshine instead. And that kind of leads me into Mark. Mark was like, I couldn't have gotten here without Mark, without a doubt, without Mark. The bond I formed with him in the game is like undescribable. We had so many one-on-one calls, even talking about how we would have to somehow get rid of JJ and Casey before we got down to this low of a number. Of course, with JJ being blindsided, we had to shift that a bit. But when we got to the final 4, after Casey won immunity, Mark declared, okay, I'm going to vote Michael, which meant that it was going to tie me and Mark, and we would have to go to fire making, and one of us wouldn't be able to make it. Now, I never, ever want to emotionally manipulate anyone, and I truly didn't. But I was very hurt and very upset and got on a call with Mark and said, like, listen, if it's good for your game, do it. But I was upset. Mark, in the end, did change his vote, and we worked together to get Sunshine out. Yes, it might have been a game move on Mark, but I feel like if my social connection with him wasn't as strong, he still would have voted for me. And I could very well have gone out at 4, but I didn't. And yeah, I think that's everything I want to say for now.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael. We appreciate that. So with that, we'll start with our first person to ask you guys questions. And that would be Sir Jonathan. Jonathan, if you want to get on camera, the floor is yours.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm going to keep this pretty short and simple. I've got a couple questions for each of you. Michael, I think you touched on this a little bit in your speech. Casey, you might have as well, but I don't remember. What was the biggest thing in the game that you kept from each other? Michael, if you want to go first.
Probably how close I was with Mark. I mean, Casey knew that, but I don't think he knew that me and Mark actively talked about how we would get rid of our partners to get to the end.
And Casey.
So as I did touch upon a little bit, I was relatively honest with a lot of the things in my game. I think one of the few things that I actually truly hid from Michael was the whole idol thing, having the idol, and I kept that up until literally the end of pre-merge. I kept that a secret.
All right. My other question, what was the biggest weakness of the person sitting next to you in the game? So, Michael, what was Casey's biggest weakness in the game?
He has control issues. He's a control freak. So when things didn't go his way, which happened a couple times post-merge, he blew up. He told me and Mark can admit to this too, you guys just ruined your games. You just ruined your games. But no, we made decisions that benefited our games, benefited my game, and I'm here because of it.
All right. And Casey?
I think Michael's main issue is that, similarly to how I've been in the past, Michael's very much a middle gamer, and you can't go far into the game with more outward players or more dominant players. That's Michael's issue, because I think a lot of times it doesn't, especially if it would have been a final 3, depending on who else was there, it doesn't work in that scenario.
Yeah.
All right. I've got one more question. Since I got lots of time. Do you think you played a heroic game or a villainous game? No middle ground. If you had to pick one, what do you think you played?
Heroic.
Heroic?
Yeah.
All right. And if you want to explain why, you can. But
I guess it's more so that I didn't play a villainous game. I was pretty nice with everyone. I don't think there's anyone in the story I had zero relationship with. And I also didn't unnecessarily blindside anyone. I didn't personally attack anyone or anything like that either.
All right. Casey?
Personally, actually, Michael and I literally just talked about this last night. I really don't think there were a hero or villain spot for either of us. If I could, I would say, if anything, an anti-hero, but I'm sure most people would probably say I was more a villainous game because I was like a triple agent. But I think you could also just as equally make the argument that I was considering other people's feelings, especially someone like Grace, who did feel ostracized, regardless of whether or not she was truly ostracized. Those were her thoughts and feelings, and people disregarded them. And that, if anything, is more villainous. I talk to everybody in this game.
All right. Thank you very much. Congrats on both making final two, and I hope everyone after me gives you a fair shot. And yeah, I'm really excited to see you both here.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, we're going to do a real quick, we're going to start out with some awards. Since Jonathan, you just went, we had an award, Best Production Chat, and that goes to you, Jonathan. You kept us more updated than anybody else did. Every day, Sean and I would rush to read what you had written, and you would always answer any questions we threw at you in your chat. You by far had the best production chat of everybody in the game. There's nobody could have topped what you were doing. Even when you were voted out, you still were very forthcoming with your thoughts and what you felt, and that was amazing. We really appreciated that. So thank you very much, Jonathan. And we also had funniest exit from a game, which goes to Sunshine. And if you need to see what his exit was, we did put it in that video that we posted earlier. Sunshine, that was hilarious. that had us all rolling. It was supposed to be a serious moment, but you had us all laughing really hard. So next up is Timmy. And Timmy, if you want to get on camera, it's all you.
I truly do not want to get on camera. I'm laying in bed. I'm too comfy for that. No one needs to see a triple chin today. Okay. Let's see. I'll start out with this statement because I want to say it first. This game truly was a hot mess. Throughout this game, I lost respect for 3 people, but neither of them were you two. So it's great. And usually I don't lose respect for people in games, but I don't know. I didn't actually have any questions planned until I heard opening speech. So Michael, I have a question for you. Just during your speech, I just want a yes or no answer. You were talking about hearing something about the 8-person like friend group, whatever. So did you say in your speech you were the one that spread that from beyond there? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's really all the questions I had. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you. And Miner's on the same Zoom, and I think he's next.
Oh, am I?
I don't know. That's a Sherry thing.
Yeah, that you're next, Spider. You could go ahead.
Okay. I also he left. I could go on camera then. If it works. I don't think it's working. Okay, I'm just gonna stay off camera. I also didn't have any questions prepared. Just one comment was just Michael spreading the friendship group, and then also you just playing with your friends. It's also kind of like hypocritical because you mentioned when you saw Mark and Jonathan, you instantly make a chat with them. Was that right?
Yes. So that was, can I respond?
Yeah.
Okay. So that wasn't any kind of the whole friendship thing. Listen, Jonathan might have also spread that on his side. I might have not have actually started it, but once Keaton told me that, I did use that information. Because again, anything that's an advantage for you in a game could be a disadvantage. And me and Casey felt very on the bottom of our initial tribe. So kind of playing long term, you kind of have to use anything to your advantage. So if helping spread that helps, then yeah, I'm going to do that because I want to make sure I'm not voted out. It wasn't anything personal. I mean, of course, I bonded with Mark and Jonathan, who I knew before this. I never in any way came at the whole friendship group thing as like, this is not in the spirit of the game, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't anything like that. It was purely just strategic.
Okay, but it was still something personal outside the game that was used for the game. Yeah. But yeah, you guys both played a great game. Both of you seem to play fluid. Um, mm, what else? Okay, so I also like doing these 3 questions for like bonus points for jury questions. So first one, if you could make your game into a title of a book, like a book, what would it be?
Hmm.
It could be not like a already made book, like you just naming the book.
I'm going to go off of something that was often brought up throughout the game. I'm just going to say it would be called Triple Agent. Did you want an explanation, Minor?
Sure. While Michael is thinking.
Yeah.
So the Triple Agent thing, I mean, my first set of loyalty was through to Mark and Michael. And then the second group was the North Side people. And then third, I guess, would have been to the Octopus chat. So it would be 3 sides and, so yeah.
Oh my God. I guess. Man, I don't know. This is a really hard question. I guess like long distant bonds. I have no idea. Just because of like what really got it through was me and Casey working with Mark and JJ on that other side. So cross like tribal bonds.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's the best I can come up with.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what was my other question. So yeah, so you had the book title for like your journey. Tell me what type of Pokemon you feel represents you in the game.
Jigglypuff.
So unfortunately, I stopped paying attention to Pokemon after the first Gen stuff, just because I didn't particularly like Gen 2. So I don't know if this would be the most accurate statement, but I guess I say Squirtle. And I think oftentimes I associate water with fluidity. And I was more willing to work with people, even though I tend to kind of work with similar people, as well as when I needed to, especially after the JJ blind side, I was able to shift and pivot my game in a whole new direction, and which is really where my game took off.
Okay. Third one is, what's your favorite scary movie?
Halloween, like the original Halloween.
That is really difficult because I love horror movies, but I'm going to probably say something a little bit more recent, which is Hereditary. I think that's like probably one of the best horror movies that's come out in the past like 10 years.
Okay. Both of you are wrong. Scream is my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Fair.
No, but I love both of those too. So good choices. And then the last one is, what was non-game your favorite part?
Non-game.
Yeah, so it's just anything personal you had with people and stuff, just nothing like game-wise, like a vote out or anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it was honestly meeting every single person on this cast. I don't have an ill thing to say about anyone, but particularly, I think for me, Taisha and JJ, meeting them and really getting to know them was great. I can't wait to meet up with them in person as well as all the rest of you. But I think the most important thing, the thing I loved is like Mark and my friendship like really just like flourished. So yeah.
I think while the first part of that statement I agree with in terms of like I really genuinely liked everyone that I did meet, it truly has to be despite Tawny not actually being in my original endgame plans, meeting Tawny actually. And I loved that we went as far as we could. If it were up to me, we would have easily been in the final four together.
Okay. I think those are all. But yeah, congrats to both of you. You guys played amazing. And I'll stay open-minded to hear what your answers to everybody else's and your closing speeches.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do another award and then it'll be JJ's turn. So we gave an award because these people really kind of impressed us. We had 3 consistent viewers of the season, 3 people that constantly must have commented on every post that went out, everything. So that award goes to Colin, Karen, and actually Keith. Even though Keith went out early, Keith kept up with the game. Keith was a very big part of commenting on every post and being aware of what was still going on in the game where he was no longer in. So that really impressed us for the 3 of them to be so faithful and loyal to the players in the game that they were rooting for or cheering on, that they stuck with and watched the whole thing through. So thank you guys for being such great viewers. And then we had, which I think everybody would agree to this one, the best use of an advantage obviously goes to Grace for playing her advantage, the immunity with no power at a double elimination, forcing the alliance of 6 to have to vote one of their own out without a whole lot of time or thought to do it. And she dropped that on them. They had no idea it was coming, and it caused a big shock wave. So that was by far one of the best uses of the advantage we saw all game. So congratulations, Grace. You did a really great job that night. And, you know, she had that for the longest time and held on to it for rounds, waiting for the moment to do what she did. So that was very impressive. Okay, JJ, you are now up.
Hey guys. So I have a lot of thoughts about this season. It's really good to hear that you guys felt close with me and valued our friendship. Just so we're clear, I do not feel the same way about either of the 2 of you. Michael,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you one question. It's a yes or no question. And if you answer it correctly, I will give you my $1 million vote to win this game.
Okay.
If I vote you to win, will you surgically get your vocal cords removed? No, I'm just kidding. I love both of you so much. That's from Survivor Gabon, one of my favorite seasons.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
So this season's been crazy on so many accounts. The great news is no matter what happens, I feel like we're going to have a really solid winner. And so it's always nice when you are on the jury and you see the final 2 and you're like, you know, I could go this way, I can go that way. But whatever happens, I'm proud to be part of the game where one of those people were the winner. So you guys should both be very happy about the fact. And the fact that a duo made it to the end, I've been like hitting up Mark's PMs like, man, how did people let that happen? Because if I was here much longer, I would not have let that happen. But so congrats to the 2 of you. My first question is for you, Casey. And it actually wasn't a question I had planned. It's kind of to respond to something you said in your opening speech. You said that I was someone that you enjoyed meeting, but you did not see me in your long-term game. And I need you to explain why to me so that I understand fully what caused that perspective for you to have.
So, as I did also briefly touch upon, obviously in the Four Bros Alliance, like that was one of the early calls that I liked both because it felt very similar to my other games where it was a good balance of personal and strategic, right? So I very could quickly tell you are a smart player. People also said that you were smart, but not like too emotional. But then I did see that emotional side of you in where you were like arguing with like Tawny and Keaton. And I remember at one point even saying to you and Mark, because you guys were thinking about saying something to Tawny again, I was like, don't start a fight with them. And so I thought to myself, and this was all still pretty early on, JJ's really smart. he is already getting votes left and right in the beginning of the game. If he makes it far enough, I already know at least of the four bros that I would be the outcast, the first person, which Mark later did confirm that to be true, that you and him had discussed potentially getting rid of me after the double. So I knew you could not go into the game too far. Now, I didn't officially have any plans to get rid of you, but I even told Michael very early on in the game, because of how smart you were and how much of a, big target you were. If you did make it to the end, you'd win. So I was like, Michael, JJ's got to go probably around 7. And then Michael said, I know. Like Mark and I have talked about this on tons of occasions. So you're a great player. You've won what, 3 of the, I guess this is officially your 6th game, if I remember correctly. You've won 3 of 6 games. That's insane. I don't think I know anyone that has a 50% win record, even if it is only 6 games.
Okay. And so you're right. A big thing, why I think one of the reasons I'm usually pretty successful is I'm not often an emotional player, but for whatever reason, this game did get to me. And the most emotional I was actually not anger. It was the blind side for Taisha. I was really upset about. Like, I didn't want to do it. I was dragging my feet. I even called like Jonathan and Sunshine before the vote and was like, I don't even care who goes, even if it's me. I just don't want to vote Taisha. Like, I don't think we should do this. And so to be fair, like this next part of my question, I just need to give you that information as the background. So then the live night's happening, and before the votes are read, you say to me and Mark and JJ, I've seen the votes because I have Tani's advantage. One of you is going home tonight. Tell me why I should use my idol on you. And I need to understand, because I'm a very strategic person and I can't figure out why you did that.
So the reason, what's that?
Yeah. So if you could explain or offer me some insight.
Yeah. I mean, I immediately told Mark and Michael afterwards, my reasoning behind it. So pretty much I do, as I said also in my opening statement, I like to play the middle game. It's how I played my previous 2 games, but clearly I didn't get too far from it. So in this game, once you guys did not inform us about the Taisha vote, which if you guys would have told us that, I would have immediately told you that that was not a good idea and something seemed suspicious. And this was something and this is kind of getting to my point, this was something that I was originally going to say in my opening speech, but like there were 3 red flags that night. And right before we went to that vote, you and Mark did not come into the Trojan chat. So I thought to myself, okay, so if people are starting to even think that maybe we are 4 together, I need to make them think I'm angry at them. I'm not that emotional of a player. That whole thing was an act. Literally, I decided when I was trying to play that power, I was stalling out my vote purposely to run through scenarios in my head. And one of the things was I need to make it seem like I am pissed off at Mark and JJ, and I need to make it seem like I'm really upset with Tawny and Minor for keeping me in the dark. So I put on a show to allow people to think that. And it clearly worked, because after that tribal, people came to me and reached out to see if I was okay, which then I used to my advantage when I went on one-on-one calls with everybody the next day to figure out my positioning. So it was literally just to make people think that I was hurt at you and Mark. And even Michael thought that it was an act. I remember my mom and a family friend reached out to me right after and said, that whole thing was an act, right? Like, you're not that emotional. So it was just straight up to make people think that I was upset and also hurt.
So I appreciate that. I think I need you to understand that from my perspective, you had seen the votes and you had decided, at least at some point, not to use your idol on me. And it seemed like a really rough way to send me out of the game, when I did think on like a personal level, like it would have been better if you had just done nothing, right? From my perspective, just let me get voted out. Okay, you see that it's me, I get voted out. So that's just one thing I just want to bring attention to, is like, it was just kind of harsh, in my opinion. I don't need to hear anything more from that, from you. Thank you. Michael. I think you played a really strong game. I think you were involved with a lot of important moves. I think your relationship with Taisha was really important, because she became a really key player in a lot of people's plans throughout the game. you're not convincing me of these things though. So these are things I think about your game, having worked closely with you. These are things I think about your game, having talked with you a lot about the game before I was voted out.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a direct question. I just want you to know that I need how you answer the rest of the questions and your closing arguments tonight. I really need you to explain specific things that you were doing, and don't undersell the relationships you made and how those allowed you to be in certain positions where you were or were not the target. Like I said, guys, it was really good meeting you guys and playing with you. I have a lot of thoughts about the season, but at the end of the day, I am going to be happy with the winner. So good luck to the both of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna do another award really quick since this has already been hit upon. We have the worst move pre-merge, which goes to Peyton for playing the idol on Jake. And then we have the worst move at merge, which was JJ and Mark voting out Taisha, which would lead us to one of the best moves at merge at the beginning, which goes to Sunshine for getting the votes to flip on JJ and Mark basically taking out JJ. So they basically conned them into voting out Taisha just to turn around and use the same group of people to take out JJ.
Can we comment on the award, Sherry, or no?
What JJ?
Can I comment on the award or no?
Absolutely, go ahead.
I just want to say I'm a firm. I'll go on camera. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer, and I'm not biased, that voting me out was not the best move, because the 3 people who did not vote me out made it to the end. That's all I got. Okay. Love everyone. Bye.
So with that, we have, I believe it's Sunshine next, if I'm right. Or am I skipping somebody? Yeah, it's Sunshine. All right, Sunshine, have at it. They're all yours.
All right. So there's no fancy tricks up my sleeve tonight. Don't worry about it. But congratulations to both of you guys. I actually really had some really good conversations with you, Casey. Like, I think besides JJ and Mark, I think that I have like on phone call, like when we did call, like we had some of like the longest conversations that I've had. Michael, I enjoyed conversations with you as well. I just want to know, whose vote do you think you have and why? Like, so go down and say like, I have Timmy's vote because of this. You know what I'm saying? And so forth and so forth.
You want like just like one vote you think you have?
Yeah.
Okay, I think
And why? And why?
I think I have Taisha's vote because I think she trusted me the most in this game. I think she had every intention of going to the end with me, and I trusted her as well. And I think we kept communication all through pre-merge and in the merge up until she was gone. You know, we kept those communications strong. Whereas Casey didn't have that with her.
I mean, I kept in contact with her, but yes, not as much as you. It's part of like divide and conquer. But yeah, so for myself, I think depending on how the jury goes, it could be a number of ways. But due to the fact that I know Keaton isn't here and he would have to go on prior information, I'd probably say Keaton because he doesn't get to ask a question. But there are other people as well. But I'm just going to say I feel like Keaton would be the definite one.
So who do you think Jonathan votes for? And why?
I feel like Jonathan will legitimately listen to what we have to say. And this is based on a prior experience when I was on production for Conflict Season 3. Everyone voted for, in my opinion, no offense to that person, the person who played the worst game, but everyone was not upset with them. And Jonathan did not vote that way. I believe he legitimately listened to what had to have been said, and he voted that way. So I don't know where Jonathan's going to go, but I think he's going to legitimately listen out to our arguments and decide after.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. Jonathan's not someone who like when voted out gets like emotionally upset. He's like a very good sport. So I think when casting like a jury vote, he'll base it off the information he's hearing tonight.
Yes. And Casey, I want to just like say that this is probably one thing that like you don't really touch on too much, like when you're talking. Like when you had that idol, it made people want to split their votes. So like you flashing that idol after JJ like made the next vote even harder. So that was just like when people had to do like the whole okay, one on Casey just in case if he uses it the round that I'd use my idol. So like I think that was a very very like talked about play that you had done. Michael, like
May I
incredible. Go ahead. Yeah.
if I may. So, anyone that even kind of remotely knows me in the org community knows that I actually take notes. Hold on. Take notes on all my games and stuff like that. So I have notes on everything that went on with conflict, including not that, if I can find the page.
Sinsation.
Oh, he froze.
That's what he gets for saying conflict.
Is Michael frozen too?
Oh wow, they both froze. Michael's is
Because they're on the
bad.
same Wi-Fi because they live together.
Y'all
Oh,
never stop. Cease to
commercial
make me
break.
laugh. All right, so we can do some awards. Sean, do you want to message them and see if they need to log in?
Look at the jury chat.
All right, so that would mean the next two who were up. No, so that was Sunshine and Mark are now the final two. No.
Get in. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I told you we had that ticket to the golden.
so Casey just messaged his production chat saying his whole power, like block power, is gone. It should be
Oh
back.
dear Lord. Hold on. I'll answer it.
This is some technical difficulty bullshit if I've ever seen it.
This is the first time I've ever experienced it.
It had to happen. Oh, Michael's back. Michael's back on.
Hey, our power went out because there's like a major storm happening right now. Okay. Yeah, it just came back.
Okay, their power just came back on. They have to reboot their computers. So Sunshine, how does it feel to be at the final?
Good. Where's my hubby Mark at?
Mark, did you guys really expect to make it this far in the game?
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah. We get our moment. We get our moment in the sunshine. Where's your butt plug when we need it?
Oh my god.
I let it be. It's hiding.
So Mark, since
No,
you
it's-
technically lasted longer than Sunshine, you can start with your opening speech. Yeah.
We declared a new.
So I just want to thank their Wi-Fi for getting us into the final two.
I'm keeping my hotspot on just in case that happens again.
Problem is, none of
That was the
the
biggest blindside of the season.
Yeah, right.
The Wi-Fi. Good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's like pretty nasty right now.
Yeah, we're having the same storm moving our way.
Is it that's why it's so fucking warm outside right now?
I don't
Yesterday
know
was
what.
yesterday it was cold as fuck, and then today it's like I can wear a fucking tank top and shorts.
Yesterday was 76 degrees. How's that cold?
That's cold to me.
I had my AC on yesterday. Today was 84.
It was 84 down there. Wow.
Yeah.
I miss
yeah.
I miss
Yeah.
New York weather. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
Oh
this
no, he
weather makes
froze
no
up
sense.
again. All right, so we're back to Sunshine and Mark. No.
It's 47 where Tony's at. Damn.
That'd be cold.
Yeah, and it was like 80 something yesterday. I hate Texas.
Oh,
I-
yeah, it's 47.
yeah, I agree.
Michael, it's bad. It's bad. The way you keep freezing up, your mouth was open. It was bad.
Michael really on his beat boot era.
I will give
Oh,
another
what?
award. We can the queen of the jury definitely goes to Tawny.
I thought I was gonna go to Warren, but
If Warren had made jury, I bet you would have. But the king did go to Mark, which leads us to the best fight of the season was Tawny and Mark. Waking up to that morning was hilarious.
I can't
Wait,
believe I
what was
missed
the
it.
fight? Tawny and Mark had a fight?
Oh yeah.
Were you not still there, JJ?
Again,
Yeah,
go look at the
I'm
video.
stoking the fire. I watched that fight like 5 times.
Oh,
Image.
And it continues right as soon as Mark went to jury. It just those two were hilarious.
they just
watching.
have very strong personalities.
Yes, they do. I was like, you both are so much alike.
Yeah, we may have had some fights in jury too. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm sure Michael probably just told you the situation.
Well,
Yeah.
Sunshine and Mark wanted to thank you guys for your Wi-Fi going out because they're now at final 2. You guys can pick which one you want to vote for. No. All right. So Sunshine, you were in the middle of talking when they froze up. So take it away.
Oh God, I don't even know. I don't know. So Casey, blah blah blah. Like we got to that. I don't know. Casey pitched why Michael should win. Michael pitched why that's, and vice versa. And I'm good.
Oh, well, I need a second to think about that. I just want to say, I appreciate the stuff. This was part of what was supposed to be my opening speech, and I only really got through all of this and not most of the merge stuff. But I appreciate like you saying that too. As for Michael, I need a moment to think about that.
I missed what was just said. I just disconnected.
Why should Michael win and why should Casey win? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like vice versa.
Yeah, okay. But the case, did you answer, Casey?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So I'm first. Okay. So I would say, why should Casey win over me? I think he played a very loud game, especially post merge, where mine was maybe a little more subtle.
I guess Michael. Michael was really good at his opening speech, I think, compared to me, where he liked to embellish a lot of points. And to someone who doesn't know what's some of those finer points that could look as, he did a really good job. I guess I'll say that. He embellished some points, and hopefully maybe that gives him some points to win.
Well, my vote's still up in the air. Good luck tonight, folks.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have our Silver Fox. Where are you at, Mark? Oh, God, don't tell me his. Oh, there he is. I see him.
Sorry, I'm like totally texting the game because I'm like, oh my God, what are they saying? What are they saying? Let me just finish the sentence. No, anyway, I can't. Okay. Casey and Michael, congratulations, both of you. Two of my favorite people in the org community, and definitely two of my favorite people in this game. And but I'm not going to go easy on either of you because I think there are things. I think because I have a good relationship with you, I think I can go quite hard on you and hopefully not offend either of you. So, Casey, I'm going to start with you. So, throughout the game, obviously we worked together from very, very early on, well, the very beginning, really. And there were times where our games had to deviate because of the different people that we were talking to. And between us, really, we were talking to everyone in the whole game, which was why our game worked so well, I think, as a group. However, I think there were times where I was very, very frustrated by you as an ally, more frustrated than I have been with most people that I've ever played with as an ally. I felt there were times where you wouldn't necessarily listen to the group's thoughts on things because you kind of wanted to steamroll your own ideas. And so my first sort of question is, because I think you've tried to tell me in the past how you did that for the group, but I have to say from the perspective of myself and JJ, and I think Michael as well, it very much felt like it was quite a selfish game. It was like it was being done for you because you knew in the end it would benefit you the most, because if you get to the end, you have the group that don't like me and JJ, for example. So can you tell me how it wasn't a selfish game that you played? Or was it a selfish game? And if so, then fine.
I will say that if anyone says it's not a selfish game, they're lying. Every move in this game is in part selfish. One thing that I did do multiple times on call with you, Michael, and JJ, I straight up said, I know it's in part self-serving, but here's my thoughts. I don't actually personally think, and sometimes people feel differently, and those thoughts and feelings are still valid. I didn't get a little bit more aggressive with what I had wanted up until about the last half to third of the game. As for the other parts, the first third to almost the first half, Michael and I had the exact same ideas. So sometimes Michael pitched those ideas first, and I think it would be unfair for that to get credited towards me when it was either joint or Michael. So I think everything that I did do, though, it was in part to at least get us to the end. And the big thing is that with everything in terms of disregarding North Side, you guys kept saying to me, you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to do it, you need to vote with us. But I didn't do that. And because of that, I think that is a large part of why we did make it as far as we did. There are other factors at play, of course. So I think, yes, it's in part selfish, but it was truly to try and get us as far as possible. That way you had your allies, Michael had his allies, and I had my allies. Michael's big one was Taisha. Originally, the ally I was banking on was Minor, but it did switch to Tawny. And then you guys had your original tribe. But when Michael came up with the double plan, you guys completely disregarded him as well in doing that. So we wanted to kind of each have our allies. You could even compare it to the Cookout. The Cookout did the same thing. They all had their allies in an unassuming alliance to get them to the end. So they were the end game. It's kind of similar to that.
Okay. I might come back to you because I feel like I might have some other things to ask. But I want to go and see how long this takes. So from my games, I've been playing orgs for 2 years, and I've made a few very close friends. And this is obviously only the second game we've played together. And in the first one, you were away in Europe and like lots of things were going on. So I feel like we made friends, but I don't think we ever got to the level of friendship that we have now, which is much deeper, much more connected. And I'm really, really pleased about that. And it's been great. And it's been one of the highlights of the game for me, is getting to spend more time with you and get to know you better. But as you saw, I was willing to cut you at 4 to make sure that I could have a chance to win the game, because I knew that you and Casey were going to get more votes than I was at the end. I may have lost against Sunshine as well, but I felt I at least had a chance against Sunshine. So I had to make that call. As a game player, I do think that would have been my best move to potentially win the game that way. But you had a very emotional reaction to it. And my question is, would you never have voted for me? And would you never have voted for Casey? Because we did bring that idea to you at 5. And do you think the fact that you said, I could not vote Casey at this stage at Final 5, do you think it is a decision to not make a move that maybe is going to cost you the game?
Okay, there was, I feel like, a couple questions in there, so I'll try to go in order. So as far as never writing your or Casey's name down, even at Final 4, when Casey won that immunity, I still did not want to write your name down. That was not my plan to do so. Now, if you were going to still vote for me, you would obviously force my hand in doing so. Casey as well. The only time I could ever see me writing down either of your names was in a final three situation, which we got put into. Early on in the game, I actually thought, and I made a confessional about this, like my plan was to actually have the final four be us three and Taisha, because at that point, whether I win that last immunity challenge or any one of you three won, I would be sitting in the final two. I even thought about throwing it too, but when it came down to it, I did try in that last immunity, and I actually was going to cut Casey. And now I kind of forgot all your other questions. Sorry.
I mean, that the really key question, which I think is probably the most important, it links to what you've just answered already,
Okay.
is at the final five.
Yeah.
I said to you that me and Sunshine are going to speak to Tawny, and we're going to try and get her to vote for Casey.
Right.
I thought that was unlikely to happen because Tawny and I's relationship was not strong enough maybe for her to do it. And I mentioned in passing to you that we were going to do it. I said, don't mention it to Casey, which you didn't, I don't believe. So thank you for that. But you said I wouldn't be able to do that. I think, this is my feeling, that that's going to lose you the game tonight because you didn't go down.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to lose you the game, but I feel it might have been. Would you go back, if you were to go back and do it again now, would you have taken up that offer of voting out Casey?
No. And I think because I would even have less of a chance at making it into these final two seats had I voted out Casey then, because I don't think Sunshine I think Sunshine would bring you to the end. I think you would bring Sunshine, and I think Tawny would probably bring you.
I think the thing that you're saying, and you keep repeating, is to get into the final two seats, because you said Taisha would have brought you to the final two, I would have brought you to the final two, Casey would have brought you to the final two. But looking at the showy game that Casey has, Casey bringing you to the final two doesn't necessarily win you the game.
No, I understand that, but I can't win the game or even come in second if I'm not at the end.
I agree with that. I'm not going to come back to you, Casey. I think I've asked everything I need to ask, but good luck to both of you. I'll see you later.
All right, so that leaves us with our queen, Miss Tawny. Are you available?
Oh,
There she
yes.
is.
I am still in my car. I've been sitting in here this entire time. So I'll start off by saying I obviously missed all of Casey's speech, and I will go back, since this is on YouTube, go back and watch it before I vote. And I missed, I think, the first part of Michael's. So Casey, I know there was something that you said that you had omitted, and I'll get to that in a minute. Michael, there was something I did want to ask you about my vote out. Because there was something that you were saying that it was like an emotional vote for you.
Yeah.
What made it emotional? Like, what was going through your head during that vote?
It was actually the conversations we were having like a day or two prior about like mental health stuff. I feel like I don't know, at least on my end, I really connected with you on that. Because that's been something that's been part of my life for the last like year or so. And I do truly like you as a person. So I just felt like it just was kind of tugging at my heartstrings. And again, that's happened a couple times this game. I never thought I could let emotions get in the way, but voting you out was a situation where that was happening. But ultimately I did, just put myself in a mindset that like, this is just a game. And so that's why I went with it.
Okay. And Casey, what was that part that you had omitted? You're muted.
So I'll actually say two things. So in reference to what you're referring to in the tribal with Sunshine, me, and Mark, the thing that I omitted, and as I did say, it wasn't purposeful because we didn't have a lot of time to talk when I was finally telling you my whole game plan,
Right.
was that as the South Side, along with Michael and Taisha's plan to take out all of North Side, I knew that regardless, they were going to try and take you out Keaton out, potentially Timmy. So my original plan, and Grace as well, my original plan was to at least try and get them to do certain people. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And I had to shift and pivot. But the original plan that I was hoping for, because I really thought they were going to take you out at that double, was that they would end up taking you out and then I could play with Minor the rest of the game. And it wasn't because I had a stronger relationship with Minor. It was just because I thought that's how the pieces were going to lie. But as I also did say, though, Minor was taken out, and I am so happy that we did get to play, because also, in addition to what Michael was saying, those last few days, you and I did kind of talk about some of the stuff that was going on with you, and that was all genuine. And those are the things that brings us together as people. Everyone goes through those sort of things. And I told you just a little bit about me when in regards to that stuff. But given that you were dealing with stuff, I wanted to be there for you. That was not game related. That was genuine human to human sort of thing. So you were my closest ally aside from the Michael and Mark thing. And I'm happy we made it as far. I wanted to make sure that we were in the final four, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. Sometimes you have to take risks in this game. And even if they fail, you can at least say that you made that move. And so I really did want to bring you as far as I possibly could. And I told you I wouldn't write your name down unless I had your blessing. But that's kind of where I was getting at.
Okay, so I had asked the host to get y'all to get something to write on and write with. Do y'all have that with you?
Yes.
Okay, so for this last part of my thing, both of y'all can mute. Y'all don't need to talk. I only want what's on the board. So I want you to make a list of 1, 2, and 3. And next to those, I want you to write down your top 3 like people that you had in this game. And then I want you to reveal them whenever I count down. Just let me know when you're ready.
People we have in terms of the people we had strong.
Like your closest allies.
Okay.
Your 3 top closest allies. And just let me know when y'all are ready. Okay, and y'all can reveal. Okay, I got it. Y'all can erase that or go to the next page for Michael. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is write a number between 1 and 10 and let me know when you're ready, and then I'll let you know when to reveal it. Okay, reveal. 2 and 7. Okay, now what I want y'all to do is to cover your eyes. You can use your board, your paper, cover it with your hands, close your eyes, whatever. And we're going to do kind of something similar to what Sunshine was doing earlier, but I'm going to go down all of the jury. I want you to raise your hand if you feel like you have this juror's vote. We'll start with, do you think you have Timmy's vote? Raise your hand. Do you think you have, I don't know the order in that they went into the jury, so I'm just going to try to remember, Taisha's vote. Okay. Keaton's vote. Okay. Minor's vote. Okay. Grace's vote. Okay. JJ's vote. Okay. Mark's vote. Okay. Sunshine's vote. Okay. My vote. Okay. The pre-jury's vote. Okay. Am I forgetting someone? I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Jonathan, do you think you have Jonathan's vote? Okay. Can someone let me know if I have officially forgotten anyone? I think I got everyone, right? Okay, last thing I need you to do with your whiteboard or paper. Just very quickly, I want you to draw a picture of a dog. Y'all got it? Okay, let's see them. I would not call either of those dogs, but go off. And then the last thing I do want to say is, because I did get to talk to your parents last night, and there was one thing that Michael, I think you had said, it was either during like the questionings or like towards the end of your speech, where you had said that while we were still on separate tribes, you and Casey felt like y'all were on the bottom. What I would just like to kind of put out there is something I did tell your parents last night, is that I think I can speak for Keaton on this. He can yell at me later if he watches this and tell me I'm wrong. But we both felt like we bonded with both of y'all so well. And so we did not want anything to happen to y'all. I think he was probably planning on doing something later. Who the fuck knows? I don't know what goes on in that man's brain, honestly. But for me personally, I loved getting to know both of y'all separately together. So just like, it hurts a little bit in the sense of like, y'all felt like y'all were on the bottom, because I felt like we were doing a good job of like making y'all feel included and everything. And because we did want to show y'all that like the whole friend group thing was like not a thing, that we were willing to work with y'all to go to the end. At least I was willing to go to the end with both of y'all. Even over my tattoo buddy of minor, like I probably would not have had voted him out, but I would have let him die again like I have before. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to put that out there, that y'all definitely were not on the bottom in our minds. And it kind of sucks that y'all did feel that way. But that's all that I have for y'all. Congratulations. Good luck to the both of y'all. Like I said, I am going to go back and rewatch opening speeches and everything. And I do have an open mind when it comes to this. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tawny. Thank you, everybody, for participating tonight. Before we get into the closing speeches, I do want to say thank you to everybody for a great season. A lot was learned for sure. I think it's amazing that the Michelonis brothers are here at the end. With that, the award for the best duo obviously is going to go to them, for Casey and Michael, because here they are. They were a duo and they made it to the end. And not only that, they're actually related in their blood. And Casey pointed that out in his speech, which I do appreciate, because that is a kind of nice way to end this game. So before we do finish up, I'll do a couple more of these wonderful awards that we came up with. Like Sean and I did. The only one we didn't do this season that I typically do is fan favorite. I just completely forgot to do it. So I am so sorry about that, everybody. If you guys want, we can do a poll afterwards. And we will be posting the interview with Casey and Michael's parents after Tribal. It's a really good interview. It gives us some real good insight on both of them. So thank you, Lori and Mike Michelonis, for doing that with us last night. It was really fun. So we had the best underdog of the season, which was Tawny. I felt like Tawny, when it came time for merge, played from the bottom most of the game and fought to stay in the game. And she really did her hardest. I mean, and she was up against an alliance, and yet she was still able to maneuver herself into the position she was in when she went home. And it really was sad to see her go home, because she played such a really good game. And you should be really proud of your game, Tawny. We had the best alliance is the four brothers, Casey, Mark, JJ, and Michael. Their alliance would crack us up. Those guys would stay on call a lot. And we were always jumping in. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. The four bros, Casey, Mark, JJ, and Michael. We had the most robbed jurors were Taisha, JJ, and Tawny. Most loyal players, also Tawny. We have, let me see. Best game awareness was definitely Sunshine and Jonathan. Believe it or not, those two always knew what was going on in the game. Sunshine said, I think really early on, he'd be like, oh, this is going to be a final two. It's a duos game. Duh. Jonathan was over there like, this and this is going on. Those two really had a really good grip on the game, and they were very well aware of the game. Comp Beast would have to be a tie between Casey and Michael. They both ended with 3 comp wins for each of them. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go into your closing arguments.
All right, so I believe I am up first. So as I did previously say, there was a lot that I didn't get to say in regards to the merge side of things. So I just wanted to say that clearly, even though the social game is not the end all be all component of this game, my social game clearly was a pretty strong one. And I think there are easily 2 big identifying factors, and they actually both surround Tawny. Tawny at one point gave me her advantage. Now, with my idol, it essentially works as a super advantage. So I got an advantage from Tawny. At the point where Mark and Sunshine approached Tawny to take me out, Tawny had said a couple things, but I think that was also an instance where loyalty and the social bonds did play out. So that's in regards to my social game. In terms of my strategic side, I had great strategies and even tactics all throughout the game. Like I said, a lot of the first half of the game, Michael and I were on the similar mindset, but I think a very distinguishing feature or a distinguishing plan that I had was to stick with, despite Michael and Mark and JJ telling me on multiple occasions, when are you going to vote with us? When are you going to vote with us? I think you got to vote with us this round. I still stuck with Northside. And that was not me, manipulating anyone in a malicious way at all. I did form really good bonds with them. So that speaks to my social game. And even right at the final 4, Michael, Sunshine, and Mark all said that I was the best strategist. Hell, even last night, Michael added me into his production chat for 1984 and asked me advice on his current HOH noms. Not going to get into it because of spoilers. So clearly, I guess I'm valued in some way, shape, or form for the strategy side with it. I also did take risks. Sometimes they fail, but you still need to take them. I was on occasion, nobody has a perfect game, but sometimes your perception is off. But certain things, my perception was on point, especially with the Shannon thing, when I was finally able to get a one-on-one call with her, and also my call with her and Sunshine. Then I also was trying to be honest with people and cover my tracks. So instance, once again, the Sunshine and Shannon conversation, I was able to then immediately go to Jonathan. I told Jonathan straight up. And then at that tribal, Shannon, with a little bit of Sunshine, but more so Shannon, tried to flip the script on me, but I had already covered my bases in that regard. Competition stuff, once again, Michael and I are tied. I won 2 of the most important competitions that literally my own self secured my spot in the final 2. And even if people pegged me as being a double or triple agent throughout the game, people did not actually act on it. Throughout this game, I did not get a single valid vote against me. The only one time I got a vote, it was negated. So I had no valid votes counted against me this whole game. So I think those are just some of the highlights. There's so much more that I could touch upon. I don't know how much time I have. While there was emotion in some of my plans, none of my plans completely were dictated by emotion. But that's kind of my game. I think I did play a good game. Nobody plays a flawless game. We all have our flaws. And I hope that at the end of the day, you guys can see me as, the next winner or the first winner of Sinsation. One other or a couple other small things that I actually do want to touch upon because no one's telling me that my time's almost up. So I kind of started to say this when Sunshine had asked the question, but there were a couple points, and I was writing notes down during this tribal where Michael sort of exaggerated and embellished and took credit for things. One of the big key things was the pre-existing relationship stuff. people were straight up honest with me right from the beginning of the game about some of their pre-existing relationships. Tawny, on our very first call, told me that she had her tattoo buddies and some of her tattoos are from org people and her relationships. Keaton, my first call with him, he laid out every single player in the game, how they were in previous games, who their relationships were. Jonathan did the same thing. A huge part of this cast came from CTC. I knew all that. I mentioned it on calls as well. So I feel like Michael trying to pitch that point as if he was the origin of that story is a completely false narrative. But I mean, that's part of the game, is trying to pitch those sort of things, and that's not true. Also, the Four Bros chat was actually created by Mark. Mark was actually responsible for creating a number of alliance chats, especially Mark and JJ duo chats with like all other pairs in the game. Mark gets the credit for that, not Michael. And then Sunshine, I agree. You did kind of actually say that earlier when we were referring to the Four Bros. And then also I did peg kind of early on, there would be a chance that Michael would want to take Mark. So almost every time we talked, I kept saying, you sure you wouldn't take me out at the end? You sure you wouldn't take me out at the end? And then the other night when Michael was in my room sitting on my bed, he pretty much let it slip that Mark was this huge ally that he could potentially take to the end. But luckily for me, whether or not Michael would have gone through with that plan or not, because Michael did also just say that, you know, at the end of the day, he wouldn't have voted against me at 5 and 4. I am responsible for me being in the final 2. I did create plays and try to make more moves in this game. I think that's more or less it. Oh, and then also, even though Michael said part of him was very emotional when it came to him and Mark, in terms of Mark publicly announcing his vote, once I had already casted my vote and I pre-voted as well, Mark did say that he was the one that came up with that plan. So I think those are kind of my last notes.
All right. So Michael, take it away.
Well, I guess if we're reviewing each other's stuff, I'll go first, or go with that first. Yeah, Mark did come to me with that idea. That's true. But I don't think he would have if we didn't have the connection we had. I wasn't so upset. So there's that. I never said I created the Four Bros chat. I said I created the Sixers chat. And then there was one other thing. Oh, and again, I am not claiming I originated the whole friend group thing. I'm just saying once Keaton told me, I started telling others that. Now, as far as just a closing statement, you know, I feel like I came at this game, you know, really hard. I truly gave it my all. I formed a lot of connections. Every step of the way, I made, you know, I had this strategic mindset. I was also very tactical, and I also tried to plan a lot of steps ahead. And I did that really with my closest allies, with them in mind and myself in mind. I don't think if it wasn't for JJ, Taisha, Casey, I wouldn't be sitting here. But in the end, you know, like Casey said, it is a bit self-serving. So yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Sean, you know I'm heading your way. So with that, it's been a great season. Congratulations again, Michael and Casey. You were well deserving. Sean, take it away.
Jesus, y'all. So after a long 32 days of this game, we faced the jury. The jury, once again, the final time in this game, head into your production chats and vote for a winner. And I will be right back in just a few moments.
In a few moments, I gotta go watch the shit.
Casey was talking in the beginning, Tawny. You got about 30 minutes to go through.
I did talk for a while, yeah.
I was like, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Like, can I at least get 5 minutes to go through and like kind of at least go skim it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll be back.
And no, Jonathan, you cannot vote for Sunshine. So you two relieved it's over?
Oh yeah, I need to sleep.
Oh God, me too.
I'm half and half. I am relieved it's over, but also I wish I was still in. I still wish I was playing the game. It's fun to play these games. It's fun to meet new people, especially in our crazy pandemic world.
I think I am excited it's over, mainly because I can talk to other people again who I haven't been able to talk to in like a week or weeks.
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday, so the post office is open. So I'll be dropping everybody's shirts tomorrow. It's only open 2 days a week. Our post office is actually the firehouse, actually the convenience store, actually the post office. So if you have an emergency and need to pick up a package and grab some milk, you're in the right spot.
So in the meantime, while I'm trying to tally votes and gather votes and let Tani watch the first part of opening statements, I do want to say on my end, first of all, thank you to Sherry for letting me be part of production. Initially, I was never supposed to be the one reading votes. I was never someone trying to, behind the scenes. I'm supposed to be the graphics person. So
But you did such a good job with the reading of the votes. You cracked me up.
Except Tani's. We don't talk about
that. Was amazing, though. That was probably the funniest moment in the game.
But yeah, I do want to extend my gratitude and to the cast. Like, thank you guys for supporting me on experiencing, I guess, my first time at co-hosting a game. The support y'all gave me, I will take it. If I ever host a game myself, I learn from my mistakes, and I will not read the votes wrong next time. Especially tonight. I will make sure I don't read the votes tonight.
If you do it, I am going to die laughing. I already warned you. I'm going to fall out and die laughing.
No pressure, Sean. No pressure.
Sean, you were absolutely amazing. You should be proud of stepping up to be that production member, because you really were great.
I couldn't have done it without Sean. He knows that I've said it to him a million times over. Sean and me, we actually did really well together. And it was funny because he was originally put on the production to do graphics, and I think it was exit interviews because he's really good at that kind of stuff. And when there was nobody else around, there was always Sean. Sean was amazing. I couldn't have done it alone, and that's for sure. And I could never thank you enough, Sean, and you know how I feel.
Welcome.
Do I have time to use a bathroom?
Go ahead. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, Tani's watching your video. It'll be another hour.
My bad.
But we did get a lot of good info talking to your parents last night, Michael.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Your parents are really funny, really we loved them. Everybody's like, why can't they play?
I truly just love the support that your parents give y'all for playing orgs, because a lot of parents, when they find out their kids are doing orgs, they're like, why are you doing that? You're talking to strangers, stranger danger, even the story behind why the support is honestly cute as fuck.
Yeah.
So I can't wait till everyone to watch that video.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. We were a family who watched Survivor since season 1, so I think they get it. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm really interested in what they say. I'm going to use the bathroom too real quick.
I hope they have more than one bathroom. Well, I mean, I guess I'm always thinking of how me and my sister's room was. There was her room, my room, and a bathroom in between.
So I'm just waiting for one more vote. Yeah. So there's that. And also, think tomorrow I will be sharing the voting chart with everyone, so you get to see all the votes where people lie.
And you should be very proud of that voting chart. It is very well
I
organized.
talk highly about that voting chart.
But it was so well organized. You did that so well.
There are comments on the voting chart regarding like who got what power, what the challenge is, explaining what the challenge is, when powers are played, and what they did and stuff like that. So like a good gist of like the game.
We will also do the rest of the awards once the last vote's in.
Also, shout out to whoever Turbo God is.
I have no clue, but that's cute.
Shout out
Am
Turbo
I the last
God.
one that needs to vote now?
Yeah, we're
Correct.
just waiting on you, Sweets.
Okay, cool. I skimmed what I needed to skim. And there you go.
Shout out to John Buckley as well.
He doesn't deserve anything.
He deserves everything.
I don't know. I had a really good fight with John in the experiment. He was really fun to debate with. Oh my God, I loved debating with John. He was amazing. He is such a good, he's well spoken and he can argue an argument. I loved it.
That's kind of cool that there's that like live stream comments. I didn't even actually think about that. I don't think we ever had any for the tribals. So at least not on YouTube.
All right. Final two.
Shout out to Action. Shout out 1984.
For the last time this season, you actually want to see your name on these papers. So the player with the majority vote will win this game. And yeah, let's get to it. First vote goes to Casey. Second vote goes to Michael. That's one vote Casey, one vote Michael. Second vote, or third vote, sorry, goes to Casey. 2 votes Casey, 1 vote Michael. Fourth vote goes to Michael. So that's 2 votes Michael, 2 votes Casey. Fifth vote goes to Casey. 3 votes Casey, 2 votes Michael. Sixth vote goes to Michael. That's 3 votes Michael, 3 votes Casey. 8 votes left. Seventh vote. Right. Yeah, 7th vote goes to Casey. That's 4 votes Casey, 3 votes Michael. Next vote goes to Casey. 5 votes Casey, 3 votes Michael. Next vote goes to Casey. 6 votes Casey, 3 votes Michael. Next vote and the winner of Sensation, My Bloody Valentine, Casey. All the other votes were also for Casey. Congratulations, Casey.
Thank you so much. Can I see all the jury members now, please? Thank you, everyone. Seriously, oh my God, I don't even know what to say.
Congrats.
Okay, this is the first time all game he didn't know what to say.
I mean, I said thank you. I want to see the jury members, though. Thank you, everyone. Seriously, so much. Thank you, Aldred, Keith. I don't know if I said Aldred's name right. Turbo God, boo to you.
To clarify, the pre-jury did vote for Casey.
Okay.
That's a question.
Turbo God, I've never won before.
So with that, we will go into, if you don't mind, we'll do a couple, we'll finish up. And I gotta find my production chat. All the votes came in. Okay. I think Sean, we still have a few more. Oh, we have villain of the season. As Sean and I really talked about this. At first, we weren't even sure how to do this whole villain and hero because it was really this season. We weren't really feeling a whole solid villain or a really solid hero, but we decided we broke it down to certain moves in the game. So Casey, you got the villain of the season, playing the middle, using the vote reveal, not saving JJ, putting on that big stunt, going in between all the groups, being a triple agent. You were an anti-hero, but that also gives you the label of villain. And Michael, we gave you the hero of the season because you played with your heart. Whether people saw it or not, you really played with your heart. You were very emotional over certain votes. You really didn't want to hurt anybody. Some of the votes were just so difficult for you to even maneuver through that you really showed your heart in that. And so that gave you the hero. Even at the end, there was no easy move for you. You didn't want to make the moves you had to make, even when you did make them. And it showed on your face. So we gave you the hero of the season. And then we have the most strategic player. And this one was also really hard because Casey, you were really definitely strategic throughout the game. And so was Michael, so was JJ, and so was Mark. So it was really hard because you were the foremost strategic at the time when we were discussing this. But then we had Sunshine come out of the rear and start playing all these moves. So as the game progressed, it was like, wow, now what do we do? So to narrow it down, we decided the final move of the game that really kind of struck a chord with Sean and I was when Mark talked Sunshine into voting for Michael. And then Mark turned around and voted for Sunshine, which almost gave him also the villain of the season because I couldn't believe he did that. But so Mark, we gave you the most strategic player. Let me see. We already did the best alliance, the worst move for that. I think we've got them all. Did I forget any? Oh, player of the season. That again was a real difficult one because Casey, you won, so that takes you out of it. Because you won. So in order to get where you were at and in order to do what you were doing, it was hard because it was between Michael, Sunshine, and Mark. again, it was down to you three again. Because Casey won, so we took you right out of the running. But because it typically goes to the next people up. We had a really hard time with this because Sunshine, that move you played on that double live night was just incredible. A lot of that came from you. You were forewarned that JJ was coming for you, and you acted on it. You didn't wait for them to come for you. You went for them. And that
Who told Sunshine that? Anyways, keep going.
we heard it was you. That was the rumor we heard, or you told Shannon and Shannon told Sunshine.
Yeah.
I haven't told
Yeah.
anyone it wasn't true. I'm just curious, but we can get to that later. Okay.
You guys get that reunion. So when Sunshine thought you were coming for him, he came full force into you. He sat there for a whole day talking in his prod chat what he was going to do, and then the next day he actually implemented it. Sunshine got everybody. This is what we'll do. We'll take out Taisha, and then because we'll take her out just in case she does have an idol. Because that was the biggest rumor in the cast. Does Taisha have an idol? Doesn't Taisha have an idol? And Sunshine rallied everybody, even getting Tawny involved, sending the right people in to go talk to this person, go talk to that person. He was orchestrating that whole thing. And he was like, first we'll get Mark and JJ to vote with us, take Taisha out. Then we'll turn around and take JJ out. And he told us he was going to do it in his prod chat, and I'll be damned if he didn't. And that move was probably one of the best moves, as we said before, that we saw emerge, because it was executed very well. But then you had Mark at the end game, who was, Sunshine, do this, and I'll do this, and we'll do this, and we'll get out Michael. And then you had Michael at the end game, who was also knocking out left and right, turning and really agitating him and Casey. I thought at one point we're going to go probably fight in their bedroom. I even asked their parents if they had to be put time out a couple times. So that saying, we decided to just call it a tie between Sunshine, Mark, and Michael, because the three of you guys just played outstanding. And there was just three of you guys, you each had really high points in your game that really just put you guys as really good players. So we just decided to heck with it. We'd go Michael, Mark, and Sunshine were player of the seasons, because you guys really were. The three of you guys had a lot. You changed the narratives, and that would include Casey too. There was so many times the vote was going in so many directions, and one of you guys would do something and flip it the whole other way. And it was so interesting to watch. You guys just, if you could have seen it from our end, you would have been amazed at what was going on. Sunshine, this was the best game I've ever seen you play. You really played a good game. Had you gone to the end with Mark, I believe you would have won. I could be wrong. That would be something we could talk about at the finale.
Everyone was going to beat me in the end, Sherry. We know that.
Boy, I didn't want to be mean, but yeah, but I don't know. You might have been on
the jury chat. We've seen the jury chat.
Yeah, people, but their perception of your game, Mark, though, wasn't really your game, though.
To be fair, I wasn't voting Mark to win against people. No offense, Mark. JK, I love you forever.
Against who?
But JJ, you were one of my favorite people at Tribal, so you would definitely get an award for one of the best players at Tribal Council for using Tribal Councils. You stood your ground in Tribal. You never backed down, and you spoke what you wanted to say. And Grace would also be in that suit too, although Grace went so early, but you were there a little bit longer, and you really used Tribal to your benefit.
I
it was
think
well
he left
played.
around directly before me.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much like that, but you always spoke your mind at Tribal. You and Mark never held back. It was an interesting game, and you guys played a real game. Every one of you should be proud of your game. You guys made it to merge. There was 22 players to begin with, and you guys sat at a final two. So Casey and Michael, I can't thank you guys enough for all the effort you put in the game. I would have liked this. Your mom said you should both just be the winners. I said, I don't think Casey would approve of that one. And if Casey, if you lost, they were going to put you on suicide watch. No worries.
Okay. Calm down, everyone.
But all right, guys. So we'll end this now, I guess, unless you have anything else you want to add. All right, Sean, stop the live feed. There's my signal. Or did Sean leave? Where is she? Okay, so he's going to the reunion. So yeah, everybody just head on over to the reunion. He's putting everybody in there now, I think, in the alumni chat.
Are they all coming into this call?
No, I think he's put him in alumni chat and doing another one. Yeah, I think you guys have been at it. Yeah, he's added you. I don't know what he's done. I think we're still on a live feed too.
Yeah, we are still live right now.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if his computer just died. All right,
Harry,
let's
you
just
would
all.
be the one to have to end it because you're host.
Oh, he was host. He must have moved it
You
back
have
to me.
host.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you in there and we can start another Zoom chat.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
I
What, Michael? You going to bed?
no, I just have to make noms in 1984, but then I'll hop back over.
Okay, go ahead.
All right,
All
bye.
right. Well, guys, good luck. Thank you guys for hosting a good, awesome season. I'm
Thank
probably
you.
not gonna hop on because I'm tired.
Thank you, Sherry and Sean. Seriously.
Yes.
Sunshine, hit me up. Also, send me that game you keeps. Wait, does he?
Yeah,
He's still
Ludos,
here.
Ludos. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
Yo, hit me up on Facebook Messenger.
Will do.